Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Boredom Busters with Lincoln Children's Museum. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, and all this week we are going around the museum to look at some of your favorite exhibits that I know you all miss since you haven't been able to come visit for a while. Now, today we are looking at a spot that you might not recognize right now because, in fact, we are working on updating some of our exhibits. Now is the perfect time for that because building and designing takes a long time. Now, right here where we are, this is where the tractor used to be, but we are going to be putting in an updated exhibit. Now, the first thing that we had to do was take out all of the things that were here before. And now we have marked out on the floor some tape to show where we're going to be putting some new walls and new exhibit pieces. Now, this is a process that's been going on for quite a while. We have some mock-ups, which is what we call a design that has been done on the computer or of what this is going to be. Now we have to make sure before we start building that everything is going to work out the way that we want it to. So we have a few different challenges for you today. We're going to be thinking about architecture. So our song recommendation is called I Am an Architect, and it is a group of adults who are architects as their job, and they have made up a song about what that means to them. Now, for our book recommendation today, we have Iggy Peck Architect by Andrea Beatty. It is a fun story about this boy growing up and learning how to be an architect. And our video recommendation today is from Imagine That, the series about kids who are imagining what it would be like to have a certain profession when they grow up. And this one is I Want to Be an Architect. Now, as a second song recommendation, London Bridge is Falling Down, the classic song. And that goes along with one of our activities for today. Now, we have, for this activity, it's a building design challenge. What you need is toothpicks and marshmallows. You can use pretty much anything though. You can use anything that is pointy and hard. So sometimes I like to use spaghetti noodles that have not been cooked. Sometimes you can use Play-Doh or clay or gumdrops, really anything that's squishy that you can poke your sticks into. Now for this one, start out, you can make a two-dimensional design, like maybe some letters or some shapes. All you need to do is poke those sticks into the marshmallows or clay, whatever it is that you're using. And here we have, I can make a square. Now when you make your shapes, it can be very fun to test out how strong they are. So here's a square, and now let's compare that to a triangle. So if you compare a square and a triangle, which one do you think would be stronger? Let's see. Now here's my triangle. Here's the square. So if I put some pressure on the square this way, everything seems fine. But if I stand it up and start pressing on it, it compresses and collapses, and it moves quite a bit. Now this triangle, on the other hand, I can press on it and nothing happens. This triangle is very sturdy. So if you look around at some buildings, if you look at the scaffolding around buildings or at bridges, you might notice a lot of triangles. And now, once you've discovered and explored some shapes, have a contest to see who can build the tallest building or maybe the strongest building. Now, I like to use triangles when I am building with toothpicks and marshmallows. So there's a couple triangles, and then you can connect those triangles. Well, start building up into a three-dimensional shape. See if you can build the tallest building. Now this one is made out of, now I've got triangles, but I also have squares. So if it's look, it's still kind of wobbly. What can you do to make this less wobbly? Well, we can put supports in. So you can put some supports in like this, and now it doesn't move as much. So see how strong, how tall you can make your building. Look at that. I can put something heavy on top now, like these scissors, and the building doesn't collapse. Now, our second building challenge for today, you need something heavy. Now you can use pennies, but I'm gonna go ahead and use these little nuts and bolts. And I'm gonna use 2 tubs. You can use stacks of books, test it out, figure out what works. You just need to have 2 things that are the same height. And now we're going to figure out how to build a bridge that is very strong. Using paper, let's see. I'm going to start just by putting 1 piece of paper. It stays just fine by itself, but what happens when we start putting weight on it? It collapses. So what can we do to make this piece of paper stronger? Well, remember our triangles. So let's try making this into a fan. So if we fold it back and forth and back and forth, let's see. All right, there's a fan now, and it's triangles. And I'm gonna put another piece of paper on top of it so it has a flat surface for those weights. Now, what do you think will happen here? Do you think that it will collapse under the weight of 1? Look at that. So how many can you get on your bridge? Longest kind of bridge that you can build. Look at that. This one already holds so much more weight than just that plain piece of paper. Oh, it's starting to collapse. Now figure out the best way to make a design. Let us know in the comments the best design that you came up with for your bridge. Now, for our printable today, we have Kazoo is king of the castle here, but right now the castle is plain. It's very plain. It's just an outline. So print this off, or you can draw your own on your own piece of paper and then find things from around your house to decorate it, to make this a much more exciting castle for King Kazoo. And our last activity today, this is a very fun, open-ended activity for you. Now, thinking about building a new exhibit, what kind of exhibit would you like to build? Now, there are all sorts of different kinds of museums. There are museums like ours that are full of fun, hands-on play. There are museums like Morrill Hall that have collections that you look at and you learn from. There are also art museums where you look at the art on the walls. So, using this resource that we have linked for you, check it out, learn different ways, design your own exhibit, and make sure to let your family know when your new exhibit is open for tours and show them everything you have. So you can do an art exhibit, a science exhibit, you can do history, you can write up little sentences about some things you have, or you can do a collection. Because some history museums, they have lots of fun collections. So maybe, like this little picture has, all of your toy cars. So you can organize them and show them off in a collection. Now, thinking about building again, I do have a joke. So Miss Katie?
Yes, Miss Greta?
Why do windows hate jokes?
I don't know, why?
Because they always crack up. I hope everybody has been enjoying the Read Aloud Lincoln story times that are going on at 9:30 and 10 o'clock every weekday morning and 10 o'clock a.m. on Saturdays. And remember to check out our website for all of the fun things that we have for sale and some fun new experiences that we are starting to kick off in June. Now, see everybody tomorrow morning at 10:30.